Okay, I will try with my head to go through my presentation, and I will put some eyes here. That's okay, no problem. So it's a pleasure to be here. Now, Mr. John, you are now my friend. I agree with the conclusion of your presentation. So myself, I am part of GTT, so we are a technology company provider of solutions for LNG cargo containment system, and my presentations will be focused on how we innovate on a daily basis in the area of green shipping. Yes, so to start my presentation, first an overview on the LNG as fuel. So today what we are observing is that clearly, if we see what is happening the last 2 years in terms of orders of vessels, is that the LNG as fuel is clearly going up on a good way. And also we are observing that LNG is becoming the second fuel after the conventional fuel, and even overpassing the scrubber option, and this mainly dominated also by the container segment. A few words also regarding other fuels. I think on ammonia, I agree with Mr. John on his conclusion for ammonia's fuel. What we are hearing today is a lot the momentum of methanol, but when we see what is coming in the near future, especially with the EU maritime regulations, we see that the methanol fossil, it will not be complying with the European regulations, while the LNG, as it is today, the fossil, it will be at least up to 2035, 2040. And if we add a mix of 30% of B or E fuel, methanol, it will be only up to 2030, while LNG is above 2040. So we see still a long life for the LNG, and also with in the future with the bio and the e-LNG, clearly to respond to the response of greenhouse emissions. So now a few words on our ongoing projects. We started in 2018 with the first project with a small bunkering barge in the United States, which today is operating with already more than 300 bunkering operations, so a good track record on that. And after, in 2017 onwards, we were involved on the very ultra-large containers vessels with bunker vessels up to 18,600 cubic meters, and already operating with a lot of bunkering operations, and with two big vessels, one in Rotterdam and one in Marseille. Here a picture of an LNG tank for a big container vessel, 18,600 cubic meters. A list of all the reference, so more than 80 projects referenced since 2017, some of them already in operation. What we can see is that the size of the vessels are very large, from ultra-large containers up to medium size, with many key players involved on these projects. We can see important names like CMA CGM, MSC, PIL, and others, and also in terms of industrial fabrication of this vessel, all the key shipyards as well in China and in Korea involved. Concerning future applications, so now 2021-2022 has been a very good year for containers vessel, and today we are focusing on other segments. We are focusing on tanker segments. So here we are working on two concepts. First one is for VLCCs, to have a tank integrated to the vessel. Also, another possibility is to develop a tank at the aft side to limit the impact on the cargo if we install inside the tank. So we are working on that with the target to have larger tanks up to 12,500 cubic meters to allow very long range, so then to limit the number of bunkering operations and to allow the vessels to do a round trip only with one bunkering operation. Also, another area on which we are starting to observe a lot of interest is the Suezmax. So also we are working on a specific design with a capacity based on the trades, on the actual trades, so which leads to have tanks up to 600, 500 cubic meters. And we see this Suezmax clearly as an important segment, especially having many of these Suezmax coming to European ports. As part of our network with the shipyards we are working with for these concepts, so you can have a summary that we are conducting studies, design studies and feasibility studies with the key players either in China with Dalian or SWS as part of the CSS group, and in Korea with Hyundai and the SME. Another segment is the bulker segment, working on two kinds of vessels. First on the LOC, 325 deadweight ton, with a tank also up to 13,000 cubic meters. And another important concept is what is the Newcastle Max, which are these kind of vessels are involved in many projects related to Green Corridor and with fixed routes, either from Australia to China or also from South America to China. So again, developing concept with huge LNG tanks up to 7,500 cubic meters to allow a good range. Concerning innovations now. Today, as part on one side, obviously our core business is the technology for the tank, but when having an understanding of this kind of ships, we need to have the full picture. It's not only the LNG tanks, it is also the fuel gas handling system and also the boil-off gas management, which is important to consider in the design. So for this kind of things, we have several options, either through our insulation technology by increasing the thickness, which allows to improve the boil-off, and also to increase the capacity of the design pressure of the tanks, which normally are done for us at atmospheric pressure, but we have developed in some projects up to 1 bar G to give more flexibility to manage the boil-off management. Also, as I was just mentioning, the fuel gas handling system is an important topic. So we have several options, from starting from low capex with low pressure compressors, or to go to high pressure compressor, but it induces high capex and high opex. So we tried, so we were developing, and we have developed an intermediate solution, which is called through the principle of a recondenser, which is the principle is to recover coals through the boil-off management, and it gives a good solution, a flexible solution, which is already implemented in some of our projects. And the idea is to use, especially when the ship is going at high speed, then to the system to recover some boil-off, which gives additional reserve, which can be used at a later stage when the vessel is in idle mode. A few words on ammonia on ammonia, because obviously ammonia, not necessarily in 2023, but in 2021, 2022, we were hearing a lot of ammonia and some reluctance of the peoples to go to LNG because ammonia was coming very soon. Not as John is saying 2035, but earlier on. So we have been also trying to understand how our technology can be adapted to be ammonia ready, and we have been doing some work on that. Obviously there are important challenges because of the sloshing and the material compatibility, but we had some progress in principle for the concept of ammonia ready. And am trying to go very quickly because I have less than 1 minute, and I want to finalize with the digital part, which has been mentioned in some of the presentation of today, which is very important. We are putting a lot of efforts on that. We have a specific brand called Ascens Mallorca, part of our group, focus on digital solutions, not only for LNG ships, but for the whole industry, with voyage performance, voyage monitoring, and so on. Focus on CII, developing a lot of things on CII, not only as monitoring, but also as performance, and weather routing, which is another key important which needs to be considered, and to try to mix both of them to develop the best tool on the subject. Obviously, here are some values regarding all the savings we can do. And as I have only 5 seconds, I have to conclude very quickly, saying that we are in a successful upscale LNG bunkering. We are providing solutions for long range, saving space, and that we are innovating every day. And I finish with 3 seconds late. Thank you.